All right, guys. Well, happy Friday. Welcome to the Final for Now Facebook Friday, the series we've been doing throughout the month of June. Thank you guys for being for being attentive. I see a lot of names that I've seen on all the sessions that I've hosted, and I'm glad that you guys have been going on this journey. Just in case you have missed anything, don't forget that on schmidtvideoclassroom.com, our training channel, all of the previous sessions are right here under the Facebook Fridays playlist. Now, last week, if you guys were here, I was actually unavailable. I had a personal thing going on, so Peter covered for me and did a great session on lead gen and social ad engine. And just a real quick note on that, I had an agent reach out yesterday and start their very first social ad engine campaign and called me this morning just ecstatic about the leads that he was already getting within about 12 or 13 hours of having the ad live. So it's cool to see the training come to fruition and somebody get success based off of these ads. So so the tools work. We're not doing these sessions just because we're doing them because they work, and there's proven success behind these methods. Oh, by the way, you know how I like to gesture a lot. This is just from donating blood. Nothing bad's going on. So you good? I thought I heard a loud sound from over there, so I was just making sure. Today, in the final Facebook Friday, we are talking all things video, which, if you've heard me ever talk before, you know that this is one of my favorite subjects to talk about. Mainly because, first of all, I genuinely enjoy it. I think there is a lot of fun to be had with doing video, and we'll talk about that today as we go, the opportunities that it holds. But I think I personally find it a lot of fun, but ultimately it is a fantastic way to both market your listings and also to communicate with your clients, to stay in touch with the sphere that you currently have, and also to build a relationship with people who aren't yet clients of yours, who are interested in working with you. So if you remember over the sessions, the past three, the two things that I always drill what we're doing down to is value and relationships. And kind of with those two is engagement, right? Building engagement with people in a valuable way that builds relationship. Maybe that's what I should say. Building engagement in a valuable way to create relationships. That seems like what would be on the slide behind me if I were on stage right now. So video, to me, is one of the most effective ways of doing just that. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by looking over some stats, just some kind of background information on video, why we're talking about it from a business perspective. And then we're going to move on to spending a little bit of time about how you should doing a video for a listing. Actually advertising your listing through a walkthrough or something similar. We're going to talk about shooting videos that feature you as the main sort of person, as the main subject. And then hopefully at the end, if time allows, we're going to talk about BombBomb, and one of my favorite things that we've got available. So that's the order we're going to go in. Hopefully I'll be able to stick to that, because if you know me, I like my tangents. So let's get down to the video portion. Now, as always, guys, please feel free to use the chat if you've got any questions. We can do some unmuting at the end if anybody has any questions. So feel free to ask anything that you're thinking as we go. The stats that I'm going to show you in a second here, I created this presentation, I believe, in early or mid 2018. And I've actually kept the stats exactly the same because they prove a really valuable point. So when we go through this next slide, you're going to see a lot of things that seem outdated, but I kept it that way for a reason. So we're going to go through these right now. So some video stats. Actually, let's actually go full screen here. Is this what I have to do? You'd think the tech guy would know what he's doing. Okay, video stats. So the reason why I think the stats are important is because it's one thing to say you should do video, it's valuable, people like it, etc. But that's really easy to brush off and go, okay, well, other people like blogs or other people like this, and I don't want this to be something that we're able to brush off. And I think these stats really demonstrate from an objective business perspective why video is important. So more than 500 million hours of videos are watched on YouTube every single day. 500 million hours of daily videos watched on YouTube. That is crazy. I mean, I'm sure there's, for all of us on the call, I speak for at least the two of us, we make up probably 1 to 2 hours of that a day. 1/3 of online activity is spent watching video. So again, remember, this is early mid 2018. 1 out of every 3 minutes spent online is spent watching video. By 2019, internet video traffic will account for 80% of all consumer internet traffic. So 80% of all internet traffic from a consumer, meaning basically nothing kind of government-based or business-based, 80% of all internet traffic will be spent watching video. Now, that doesn't just mean YouTube. That's YouTube, Netflix, Amazon, Facebook, Hulu, Twitter, Instagram, all of these things. But that was the stat for, 2019 was last year. So this idea of video being the up-and-coming thing, this is how I hear it talked about so much. Well, video is the next big thing. I should probably think about getting on this. I should probably think about doing it. We're past that point. 80% of all internet traffic is spent watching video, and that was as of last year. It's only gone up now that more time has passed, more people have started doing video, and of course, with the lockdowns across the world, more time is spent online in general, and therefore, again, more time is spent watching video. So, like I said, I hear about this a lot, this concept that video is the next big thing, something you should think about starting to do. We're past that point. We're now at the point where video is not only what you should be doing, but most of the time what is expected of you. I have genuinely talked to one of our agents in this company who said that they lost a listing because they didn't do video advertising for their property. That the seller wanted somebody who was going to do a video tour, and they said that, oh, it's not something I really do, and they lost the listing because of that. So your sellers are expecting video. And additionally, your buyers, when they are browsing for listings, when they're looking online, whether that's through the MLS, CB websites, C21 websites, or of course, Zillow and stuff like that, they expect to see video because that's one of the best ways to look through a home. And then, of course, this bottom point. So again, speaking from a purely business perspective, social video generates 1,200% more shares than text and images combined. So just think on that again from if I'm trying to do what's best for my business, what should I be doing? 1,200% more shares are generated by video on social media than text and images combined. Now, if you'll recall from our very first session, I believe, or maybe it was our second session, we talked about how shares are one of the most powerful forms of advertising on social media, because sharing something, if I post something to my business page and you share it, you're signing off on me, you're signing off on the video or the photo or whatever it is that you're sharing, and you're basically saying this was valuable enough, whether it was funny enough, informative enough, heart-wrenching enough. Maybe it was like a Sarah McLachlan commercial or something. It generated a reaction in you strong enough that you wanted to share that with all of your friends, your 200 friends, your 3,000 friends, however many you have. So sharing is one of the most valuable forms of advertising that you can find in social media, and video generates 1,200% more. So to me, this is the slide that says this is why you should do video for your business. Now, there's a lot of hurdles that come with that, and that's what we're going to talk about for basically the rest of this presentation are those hurdles. But this to me is should be enough for you to go, okay, I need to start incorporating this into my business, and then taking those first steps. So, come on. Do you not want to go to the next slide? Here we go. So, a lot of people will, there are a lot of reasons why people get caught up with not doing video, but what prevents them from moving forward. And I'm going to try to nip a lot of those in the bud today. But a couple of those things are, one of the main things is I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to edit. I don't have the gear to do this. I don't feel comfortable on camera. And we're going to work through a lot of those as we go. So basically, I have this concept, I have this kind of philosophy that someone says, okay, I'm going to do a video. I don't know what to do a video on. What should my video be about? What should it talk about? Whatever. And my cop-out answer is that if you can say it in a video, you can then say it in a video. I believe that literally anything could be a video. Any piece of information that you have could be a video. Now, I'm not saying everything should be. I'm not saying that everything you post on social media should be video, because that does get kind of annoying. It gets overbearing, and you don't want that. But anything could be a video. Hey, I've got a new listing. You could do a walkthrough. Hey, we're doing a fun little office event. Shoot a little video. You're at the Homes for Dogs event. Shoot a little video. You've got an article that you want to share. We're going to talk about that as we go as well. But anything could be a video. You just need to start thinking in terms of video. And that's one of the kind of overarching themes that I want to get to here, is that you're only going to get good at video if you do more of it. So you can't expect someone doing their first video for their first time to shoot, a Scorsese film or a Spielberg film. But the more video you do, the better you're going to get. And I've got examples of that we're going to walk through as we continue to go. Some quick tips, and we'll kind of put these into practice as we go on. The videos do not need to be long. They shouldn't be long, especially in terms of social media. Your videos should not be, they don't need to be 3 or 4 minute conversations where you kind of just expound for a while, like mine oftentimes are. They don't need to be 10-minute long interviews. They can be short and to the point, literally under a minute sometimes, most of the time under a minute. They don't need to be scripted. And this is a big hurdle that I see a lot of people get caught up on, is that they want to have a perfect video. They want to have, everything nailed down right away. They have their script written out. Sometimes they'll have it taped in front of the camera, or sometimes they'll have it memorized. However, it is obvious to your audience when you are reading off of a script, or when you are trying to memorize something, because you have that look when you're trying to remember the next thing, right? Like the next, what is the word that I wrote? Oh, I sound like this. Like you're rehearsing something. You're trying to remember everything word for word. And what gets lost in that translation is the message. What gets lost is what you're actually trying to communicate in the first place. So when it comes to video like this, I truly, truly believe that it is not about having the perfect video. It's about having a piece of content that helps communicate who you are, that showcases your personality. And these are all really subtle things that really play into it. But your mannerisms, your cadence, the way you speak, the way that your face looks when you're talking, all of these things help communicate to somebody who you are and what it would be like to work with you, what it would be like to have you list their property, or walk them through the process of buying or selling a home. So it doesn't need to be long. It should not be scripted. Now, I'm not saying don't have bullet points. Most of the time when I'm doing recorded videos, not trainings like this, but, kind of short 3-minute videos or 2-minute videos, I personally will have some bullet points, either, right in front of me, to the camera, something like that, so I can stay on track. So I know the 3 things I'm supposed to talk about, but I very, very rarely have a script. I also learned at my old job, I was at my old job out, and my mouse isn't showing up. At my old job out in Los Angeles, our whole company was a video company. Like, that was our job. We had YouTube channels, social media channels. Like, we were video. And I had the opportunity to try reading from a teleprompter a few times. And that is far more difficult than I would have ever imagined, because the script is running right over the camera lens. So you have to be looking at the camera lens, making it try to look like you're not reading a script while also reading a script the entire time. And none of us here, I think there actually is maybe 1 or 2 people I know of in the company who are former weathermen or news anchors. So with the exception of those people, we're not professional teleprompter readers. So if we have a script posted or we're memorizing something, it will be obvious, and it will pull away from what you're trying to do. So I want to go over, the first thing I want to go over is listings. Showing you an example of a video walkthrough of a listing and how powerful that can be. And keep in mind, as we go through these examples, in my opinion, these video tools, let's talk about a listing video specifically. It serves so many purposes. It always serves to me at least 3 big purposes. One, most obviously, it showcases the listing. So when I show you a video, of a listing. If you watch a video of a listing, like a walkthrough, you're seeing that property. And it's giving you a great walkthrough of that property, how the home flows, how the rooms look, how the lighting looks, so you're seeing the home. Number two, it is a great tool for, I feel like there was a third one that I was thinking of. The second one, number two, is it is an advertising tool to attract more sellers. Like I said earlier, I've had an agent lose a listing because they didn't do video marketing. I've also had the flip happen where some of our agents have won listings or have received listing appointments in the first place because of their videos, because of their ads. It was someone saw a video of a different listing and said to themselves, that's what I want for my home. When we list our home, that's what I want my agent to do. And so they worked with that person. So it advertises the property and it advertises your marketing capabilities as an agent. And then I think the third thing I was thinking was it helps it helps the buyer see the home more, but I think that kind of wraps into the first point. So we're just going to say there are two big things that they do. So I want to show you guys an example real quick of a listing video. I'm going to get on my email real quick because I don't need that right now. So this is an example of a listing video. I don't know how the audio or video is going to play, so I apologize if it's a little bit I don't know what the word is. Staticky. This is my point. When you're talking in camera, it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so let's kind of watch this real quick. So I'm going to mute it as this keeps playing in the background. This is a minute 24 video. Now, I will say that this video has the advantage of getting to shoot a beautiful property in the Virgin Islands. Of course, Tracy's trying to call me right now. Let me text her real quick. I'm on Friday after 3. Okay, so obviously it has the advantage of being a beautiful St. Croix property, but this entire video was shot by one of our agents with their smartphone, with their iPhone, and something called the gimbal, which we're going to take a look at later. And then she edited it all on her phone. So this video to me, and that shocked me when I saw it. Not because I didn't believe in her capabilities, but because it was shocking to see a video that looks so professional, so well done, all accomplished from this right here, this smartphone and a gimbal. So the reason I show you that is because that is not that agent's, and just to give credit, it's from Corinne King in the Virgin Islands, one of our agents in St. Croix. So the reason I show you this is because this is something that you can do yourself. This is something that she did not do on her first try. This is not her first take and went, oh, well, hey, look at that. It looks pretty great. But it's something she practiced at, got better at continually, and now can shoot a video that like this that completely showcase. I mean, look at these sweeping shots. Look at the way she's moving back over a table or around a room, all with her smartphone and one stabilizer, and then editing it on a free app that you can download on your smartphone. So now, a lot of us have vendors in our area that can shoot videos professionally for us. Whether that's, I mean, I know some of the vendors, depending on where you are, next door. Eagle Eye Drone does a lot of videos for our Florida and Michigan agents. There are vendors, and most of the time I would also say, if you have a photography vendor who does your photos for your listings, ask them if they can do a video for your listing. Ask them if they are able to, whether it's take those photos and edit them into a video so it's still, I can still kind of click and watch it, or if they have the capability to shoot videos of your listings. Because again, this video showcases a home so much better than photos can. You see the flow from room to room. You see how the kitchen goes into the dining room or opens into the onto the balcony with the pool or the bedrooms, and it just showcases a home in a way that photos can't. And when you have an asset like this for a listing that you get to bring to the listing appointment, whether you're shooting it or not, whether it's a professional video done by someone else or one that you shot, if you get to walk into a listing appointment, pull this up on your TV or your iPad and say, this is what I'm going to do for your home as part of my marketing package, that is value proposition that I would guarantee you very few agents are actually walking in with. You are going to be one of the only ones able to walk in with that. And here's the thing: a lot of people, part of the issue with video for videos for listings is, especially if you're using a professional vendor, it will cost more money. But again, that is sort of what will continue to be expected when you are listing a property. Again, we're moving more and more video focused every month, every week. And ultimately, this is what will not only be desired but expected when you list it. How did she do that quick zoom out at the start? So let's see if I can find the one that you're like, this one right here you're maybe talking about. She walked with these. So these are not actual zooms at all. They are her moving with the camera. So I'll show you kind of how we do that towards the end here. But no, none of it is zoom. It is her with her device. So, and we'll talk about that kind of equipment towards the end. So this is one example of sort of the video that we're talking about. It kind of, the reason why I show this example is because I want you to see that with time and with practice, you can enable yourself to do this. It's not something you need to pay somebody an extra $150 or $250 for every time you get a listing. You can get to the point where your videos are just as good as the videographers that you would hire for a few $100s. Now, I will say video can go the other way too. I'm not gonna name any names, obviously, but we had for our virtual open houses, where people can, you guys are submitting your video. I see people on this list who submit videos all the time. People will submit a video. I had one agent submit a video that they shot with their iPhone, and then the next week when submissions opened, they reached out and said, can I send you a different file for that video because my sellers didn't think it looked good compared to the videos surrounding it. So video, just like any form of marketing, you could have a bad postcard, a bad photo, a bad video. It can work against you, which is why I genuinely believe you should practice and try shooting your first video and try, editing for the first time. And of course, we have plenty of tools and trainings on that, which we'll kind of talk about as we go. But this is just, again, one example of a great video for a listing, and the ability it gives you to market the home well and then use that as a tool in listing appointments. I believe I have another video example here. This is kind of one of those spur of the moment things. Let me see if I can find. So this is another video from one of our agents. If you guys are in Paradise, you'll know this face, but I wanted to show this as an example as well.
Hi, I'm Anthony Scaramucci with Coldwell Banker Paradise. Welcome to 190 Paradise Boulevard, Unit 10. I'm standing here today at the Paradise Beach Villas. It's a wonderful Florida lifestyle resort condominium. There's so much here. They have a huge gas-heated pool, a clubhouse, an outdoor barbecue, shuffleboard, tennis courts. We'll be giving you a tour of all this today. But best of all, you're within walking distance to one of the largest public parks in Indy Atlantic, right on the ocean. They have volleyball, they have a pavilion. You can go fishing in the morning and catch your dinner and bring it home. But come on along, I'm going to show you the rest.
So the reason I want to show this video is because, and I'll say this too, I have not seen an agent in our company do video perfectly. I've seen agents do amazing video, whether it's the St. Croix video we just looked at or Anthony's right there. And there's always a couple of things, again, nitpicky things we could look at. Personally, I think that intro maybe ran a little bit long, and we could have got to the property a little bit quicker. I always joke that I once saw a video, not from any of our agents, this is not from any of our agents, but a video where agents had, or they were doing a luxury kind of home of the week thing. It wasn't us, like I said, a luxury home of the week. And they talked about, so the video starts, they talked about the luxury home for over 45 seconds before they actually showed the property on screen. The first 45 seconds, it wasn't even like Anthony there where he was in front of the property. It was somebody just in front of a background like this talking for 45 seconds, and then they said, let's go take a look. If you advertise a video to me as being about a luxury listing, you better show me that listing pretty quickly there. Don't make me sit through 45 seconds of you talking and then show me the home. So, but the reason why I love that video that Anthony does, or let me even show you another one from one of our agents, Chris Jane, one of our agents in Michigan. Chris does a video, and I use him as an example a lot. He does a video for every single listing he gets in Big Rapids, Michigan, whether it's a luxury property or whether it's an $80,000 piece of land. He always does a video. And I just want to show you this one real quick here. This I haven't actually seen this one, but it's one of the first ones that came up. So
have you or someone you love ever been to certain parts of the Midwest?
We got Charlie Barons talking instead. Here we go.
Guys, not only is this beautiful house on the 14th hole of the Falcon Head Golf Course, but let me show you what sets it apart. This addition, which added a big main floor laundry and this incredible guitar building workshop, which if you noticed, happens to be connected to the third garage stall. And all of this in a beautiful neighborhood just outside Big Rapids. You know who to call to see it for yourself.
So, the reason why I love Chris's videos is, first of all, they're creative and they're innovative, and I've talked a lot about his videos in my trainings before. The reason I do is because he is a top producing agent who, up until earlier this year, was also a full-time pastor, has 3 kids, and would do a video for every single listing because he taught himself how to edit. He saw the importance to this for his business, and now every single listing gets a video. And part of the reason I love Chris's videos and part of the reason I showed Anthony's videos is because we talked about the first 2 things that these videos do, right? They showcase the listing, they get to be a tool for you for listing appointments and for selling. But the third thing that these particular videos do is they let people get to know you a little bit. Now, this video was 30 seconds total, and we see Chris in the beginning for a few seconds, and then we see him again at the end for a few seconds. And so it's not all about him. You know, this video, it's about the property. You know, the vast majority of the video is spent going through the property, but we still get to see Chris, talk to him, meet him, and move on. And he does these he does these ads for all his properties. He advertises them. He boosts them on social media. And he has gotten to the point where people literally recognize him on the streets in town from his videos. He told me the story once where he was walking back from lunch to his car, and a person in a DTE Energy van, which is a local electrical company, pulled over and said, "Chris, I recognize you from your Facebook videos. Do you have a card? Because my wife and I have been thinking about selling." So someone literally pulled over and asked for his information, all because they saw Chris's advertising and videos on social media. Yes, Judy, that's exactly what he did. He shot the voiceover there. So again, that's kind of, Jenny was asking, did he shoot voiceover for this footage, or did he talk as he went? No, he shot the footage and then performed voiceover over the footage. And that's kind of my point, is like, you look at some of these things that he does with that little transition right there, in the beginning where it kind of has that little lighting thing. If we go back, I wonder if I can find one of his other videos. He does a lot of very cool things with the videos. But the reason he's able to do these things is, like I said, he's started teaching himself to edit about, 2, maybe 3 years ago now. And he finds not only a business opportunity in this medium, but also he enjoys doing it. And what that ultimately does is allows him to get better at shooting video, and allows him to do more things with the video because he plays in that medium more. So this one says Chris Jane. I haven't seen this one again. Chris Jane Loves Tacos. This is his old intro. And I was trying to see if there are going to be any fun editing techniques in here. He does the thing where he swipes his hand a lot to go to the next shot. Oh, I think he's just showing us how to make tacos here, which is still pretty valuable. So all this to say, practice. I know it goes back to that thing that we teach our kids, right? Practice makes perfect. The more time you spend practicing doing video, the better you're going to get. And the more ideas you're going to have in video. Just another Chris example is he did a video once that was kind of an old-timey, like a silent film sort of gimmick. And he said that he had the idea for that video when he was shooting his previous one, where he had done something where he had had to write a sign, and then he was kind of like, ooh, I could do another video that was like this for my next listing. But you're not going to have those ideas if you don't do video. I will say, if you're bored, scroll all the way down to Chris's first videos. Even though he's still very personable on camera, those videos are not as great as his quality is now because he was doing it for the first time. So again, the reason why I showcase his is because, even with these ones from a year or so ago, almost every video starts with Chris in the video. See, there he is right there. It starts with him, and then boom, next thing you know, you're looking at the listing. So you're advertising the listing, you're advertising your marketing tools, and then you're also advertising yourself, but not in a way that is pompous or loud, but in a way that is kind of a subtle little, hey, this is who I am, let me take you on this tour now. So again, if you're ever curious about some other examples of video, go take a look at this stuff and take a look at Chris's videos. We're going to get to the gear in a little bit. We're not quite there yet, but we will talk about gear. So take a look at his videos, look for inspiration. I was on Peter's training yesterday for this listings to leads thing. And one of the things he mentioned that is very true about all of this is that nobody on social media, whether it's we got a video playing somewhere. Oh, it's that silly Liverpool video. We're not watching that video, guys. Not for a second. One of the interesting things about everybody on social media is that no one's reinventing the wheel. No one is doing something completely brand new for the first time. We're all borrowing or learning from each other or taking something and then adding something onto it. And especially when it comes to video, look for inspiration. Look for other agents that you think do a great job and try to learn from them. Look for other YouTubers or people who do video and say, you know what, that's kind of the person, that's sort of the vibe that I want to try to emulate. But again, you're not going to get good at video until you start doing it. No one is going to go into it, do their very first video, and be amazing at it. And if you are, I'd like to talk because I could take a few tips from you. So I want to switch gears a little bit from listing videos and go back to this presentation here because I like I said, a lot of times people say, what should I do a video on? And my cop-out answer is literally anything. But I said this on our content video 2 weeks ago. I said, make sure that your content on your social media is not just listing related. That should be a big chunk of it. But people are on average in the real estate industry, in the real estate market every 7 to 9 years. And if I just sold my home with you and bought another one, and all you post are listings, what value is there for me in that arena, in your page, if that's all you post? So just like our content as a whole, your video should cover multiple things. Make content that is interesting or shareable or informative and valuable. So these are again just ideas for video. I'm gonna borrow Gus in a second, Jeanette. So don't let him get too comfy on you. So number one, market or area update. And this is what I'm saying. I'm always on tangents. Before we go into that part, I also want to make one thing very clear. Remember who your audience is. You are not talking to other realtors. You're not talking to people who are in the know on the real estate industry. You're talking to people who are potential buyer, either your sphere of already buyers and sellers, people who are potentially going to be buyers and sellers with you. And so you need to make sure you explain things in terms that they will understand. And the reason I preface that with the first point is because the first point here is market or area updates, right? So we see things like this all the time. Now, I see very, very often our agents will get, charts from our lending partners or lenders that you work with that show you the rates for the next, 6 months or where interest rates are, or you'll get the graphs from your admin or from your manager about sales prices or days on market. You get this information, and I see people just take and post that graph to social media. without writing anything above it, without sharing any context. And you have to remember that that doesn't do anything for your audience because they have no context for that information. They have no understanding of what they're looking at. So making sure that you explain things in layman's terms. I don't know if anyone here watches The Office, but the classic Michael Scott quote, the explain it to me like I'm 5. Make sure that you're communicating it in a way that's understandable and digestible. So for a market area update video, let's just say that we're talking about, this is the example I always use. I think it's a little less relevant. Well, that might still work. With interest rates being low right now and potentially being on the rise. So, hey guys, JD. Hey, Rooney. No, we're not barking today, guys. We're in the middle of a training. We're not barking today. Come here. So you go, hey guys, JD here. Listen, it's just announced that interest. See, you might have to do a couple takes. If there are dogs whining or if you stumble. But hey guys, JD here, your local realtor. Listen, we just got the announcement that interest rates might be on the rise over the next few weeks. And what that means for you, and again, that right there is the key. What that means for you is that if you're thinking about buying a home right now, if you wait for a month or two, you might actually end up paying more on your mortgage every single month because you'll have a higher interest rate. So if you're interested in buying or buying a home, let me know now. Let's get you pre-approved and looking at properties so that we can get you locked in for a lower rate. So what you're doing is you're explaining the information, right? Because the information ultimately is interest rates are going to rise soon. But you're telling somebody why that is important and how that's going to affect their real estate experience. If you wait, you're going to pay more every single month. So make sure that your area updates, or hey, the homes or the days on market right now is really, really low. The days on market is 7 days on market compared to 2 months ago when it was 21 days on market. What that means for you is, and then you tell them what that means for them. Of course, open house tours. Now these can be Facebook Live. These can be just recorded videos, but this is basically what we're talking about, and I'll show you more of as we go. Shooting your own tour of a property. So open house tours, Q&A, question and answer, to me those are sort of one and the same. Basically, if you remember, and actually the third one too, 3 cool new blank. If you remember the lifestyle category we talked about a couple of weeks ago, basically anything that's related to home, to being a homeowner, to communities technically, anything in that field could make a great video. All right, I'm going to borrow Gus for this next example. Hey, buddy, come here. Oh. So, if you guys remember from a couple of weeks ago, everyone say hi to Gus. Gus, say hi to everybody. He was the one that was just whining a second ago. If you remember from a couple of weeks ago, one of the articles I picked from the Coldwell Banker blog was the article about moving a dog long distances. How to prepare a pet to move long distances. And one of the things I want you to remember is that, like I said, we pull inspiration from everywhere. If you see an article that you like, say to yourself, hey, this could be a good video. And maybe you either read through the article and you take a couple of the bullet points that you find the most powerful, or you just take the headline for inspiration. You go, oh, that would be a great idea for a video, and then you do your own thing. So I've got Gus here. He's trying to escape. He's been trying to get on my lap all before the training started. And then now he doesn't want to be here, but he's got to be here for the sake of this training. So I see the article and I go, hey, I could copy and paste that article to my business page, hope that people are interested in it, hope that they click on it, wait for it to load and read the whole article. Or I could sit down in front of my computer, I could sit down in front of my smartphone and hook it up on my little tripod, which we'll talk about as we go, put Gus on my lap and share a video to Facebook that auto plays with a dog who is actively trying to escape. But my video would be, hey guys, JD here, realtor with Coldwell Banker Paradise. I'm sitting here with my partner Gus, who's one of the realtors on my team. And I just wanted to share a couple things that Gus and I were talking about earlier. When we met Gus, we actually lived out in Los Angeles. And we moved him to Holland, Michigan, about 3,600 miles. And there were just a few things that Gus told me he would have wished we would have done to make him feel more comfortable on the move, and I wanted to share a couple of those things with you. So tip number 1, if you're moving a pet long distances, make sure to take them out frequently. Stop every couple of hours so they can use the restroom, so they can stretch their legs a little bit, because the alternative, trust me, is bad. And number 2, let the vet know that you're leaving where you currently are, and look for a vet ahead of time where you're going. You don't want to be in a position where you need a vet in an emergency situation and you don't know where to go. So before you move or right after you move, do some research on your local vet so you know who your person's going to be. So that's it from Gus and I. If you have any questions, please give us both a call. One of us will always pick up the phone, and have a great rest of your day. So boom, done. That was even a little bit long for me, just because I felt like I maybe rambled a bit in the beginning. But the point being, I can take an article that I've read, a piece of content that I've seen or enjoyed, and shoot my own video on it. One thing I get a lot about that idea is, you can go now. Yes, you're free. Do you want to go, or are you going to stay here now? You are a piece of work, buddy. He's a Chihuahua and he's from LA, so he's got an attitude. So one of the things that I get from people a lot with these sorts of videos, is why should people care about, why are people going to care about my opinion? Why do they care about what my thoughts are on home decoration or on, yard tips and tricks or pets or anything like that? And then my kind of retort to that is, well, why do they want to work with you in the first place? It's because you're an expert in your field. You are a professional realtor and you know things about home. You know things about buying and selling real estate. If you don't think that your opinion matters on this, well, then why does it matter in the whole scheme of real estate as a whole? So your opinion does matter. People want to see you, and people do respect your opinion. And the people who do video a lot and get a lot of reactions from it, you will literally become a sort of local celebrity where people recognize you from your videos online, and it's really, really cool to see that happen. So Q&A and tip of the day, I always, that can again be real estate related still. One example I always use is something like, like goes on, hey guys, JD here, realtor with Coldwell Banker Paradise. And I just had another client the other day ask me why it was so important that they get pre-approved before we go look at homes. And so I just wanted to explain to you what pre-approval means and why it's important. And then you do a quick little 30-40 second explanation on that, and then bada bing, you've got another piece of content. So tip of the day could again be kind of like something cool that in the real estate market, something interesting in terms of home ownership and stuff like that. You finally decided you're going to go? Or are you changing your mind again? This dog, I tell you what. The other thing so with the 3 cool new blanks, that's kind of like your lifestyle, your tips and tricks videos. One example I love to use is we had an agent once who took heed of this advice. And instead of they found an article that was, this is a couple years ago now, but upcoming tile trends for 2018. So things, hot tile trends for 2018. And instead of just sharing that article or talking about it, the agent, she actually went to, I think, Home Depot or Lowe's, found those tiles and said, hey guys, JD here, wanted to show off some awesome new tile trends for 2018 that are going to be really hot. And then she pulled the first one off the shelf and showed it and said, so this is, this trend is called blah, blah, blah. Now you can see they're a bit bigger and they're a bit loud, but they look really cool if you do that. But over here, we also have this one, blah, blah, blah. Now you can see that these ones are smaller. It's a bit more subtle, but it's a beautiful backsplash if you are to do this or that with it. So what do you guys think? What's your favorite? Which one would you put in your kitchen? Let me know in the comments. So not only is she adding her opinion, she's showcasing both of the things she's talking about and then asking for engagement in the video. What do you think? What is your favorite idea here? What is your favorite design out of these? So you're taking this information and you're making it engaging, like we said, because you're asking for opinions, but you are showing, you're I hate using the word to advertise here, but you are advertising yourself, what your personality is like, what it's like to work with you, and what kind of relationship you can build there. And then the last one I have, of course, like I said, is to show off around town. Whether that's a Homes for Dogs event, whether there's an awesome farmer's market in your area, go down to the farmer's market. Maybe you do an interview with one of the vendors down there. Maybe you just kind of walk around and say, this is why I love Holland. This is why I love Vero Beach, or why I love wherever you are. do a little video showcasing why you love where you are. So again, these are just ideas, though. I want to stress that. This is not the end-all, be-all list of what you can and can't do video on. So some quick tips on this, and then we're going to talk about gear and stuff. Does not need to be professional. You can use your smartphone. And honestly, I would genuinely say at this point, smartphone video, whether it's Android or Apple, smartphone video is professional video as long as you do it right. I mean, I don't think that my particular background, if you look at my face in the corner, I don't think I have it maybe dressed well because there's some flowers, I got the painting, I got a freaking Pokemon back there, a light coming through the banner, but look at the quality of this image. The lighting is pretty good. I've got a light right above my head. If I take my hat off, my face is well lit, it's high quality, and this is all from a computer camera. So your smartphones, your computers, they shoot great video. It's just making sure the settings and your surroundings are appropriate. Always shoot video this way. Always shoot video this way. I don't mean to get political right now, guys, but anybody who shoots video like this should not be elected to office, okay? We all have to shoot video like this. This showcases, especially in real estate, this showcases homes better. This showcases a wider array of the property. And so it is the way to shoot video. I'm just going to leave it there. 60 seconds or under is great, honestly great, because again, you want to make sure you get the correct information out, but you don't want to spend so much time where it starts to become boring or you start to lose my interest. So don't need to. Oh yeah, let's see if I can do this video. If somebody in the chat, can you tell me if when I was showing Chris's video earlier, was that coming through okay? Could you hear and see it all right, or is it not worth trying to play this video? Because I don't want to try to do this if it doesn't work well. Okay, thank you, Jenny. I'm going to try to play, this video real quick. So this is one of my favorite videos that I've seen in terms of real estate from our, let me get out of this presentation quick, in terms of realtors. This is not one of our agents or anything like that, but this is we'll just take a look here. Actually, it's fitting because he posted this 3 years ago. Okay, perfect.
Hi, this is Josh Zollinger with the Ranch Realty. The 4th of July is one of my family's favorite times of year. Between the barbecues, parades, and fireworks shows, there's always fun to be had. And you can't have fun if you're not safe. Here's how my family stays safe during all the 4th of July festivities. We always make sure our pets are prepared for the fireworks shows. And with fireworks, we always make sure we have water handy in case there's a dud.
What happened, Daddy?
Oh, it's not lighting. I think it's a dud.
A dud?
So have fun, be safe, happy 4th of July. Call me if you need help with real estate. And kids,
Happy birthday,
you have to look up there.
Okay, and then you got a little outro. This is one of my favorite videos that I've seen in real estate for a variety of reasons. So we're gonna break this down. First of all, the entire video is 69 seconds. We just pause it 1 minute in, 60 seconds in, and then the last 10 seconds is a little outro. So it's short. Number two, this is where I would actually ask this out loud if people were in the room. How many times did he talk about real estate in that video? The correct answer is twice. Once in the beginning, he says, Josh with the Ranch Real Estate. And then at the end, he says, call me if you have any real estate needs. Other than that, he didn't mention real estate at all. The reason why that's valuable here is because what does not work on social media is turning every single situation into a sales pitch. The reason why we talk about, if you've been with me for the past few weeks, this jab, hook, right? Give value, ask for something in return. The more value you give, the easier it's going to be to get that value in return. This video mentions real estate briefly, but then goes right into his 4th of July tips. It's a little cheesy, but I like that about it because, again, you get to know who Josh is in this 60 seconds. You see him kind of make light of the fireworks and having his dog with headphones. You get to see him and his daughters. You get to know a little bit about him. I mean, again, I know this might sound cheesy, but even in this picture, you see his smile. You see what this energy that comes from him. And we all have different energies, but that's good. We're all, you know, different people. So we get to know him pretty well. You can tell that it's not the most professional shot video. Now, obviously, there was some editing done, and he does have a microphone on. You can see on his shirt right here. But he stumbles over his words a couple of times. It's not a perfect, you know, he doesn't read every line or say every line perfectly. But I like that because, again, his personality comes through more. And so ultimately, I also just like it because I think it's funny. Like I said, it's cheesy, but it's funny. It is something that is worth sharing with your friends. And I forget how many shares it had, but it had, I feel like, I wish I could see. I don't think I can from here anymore because, like I said, it's an older video. It had a bunch of shares on this video. And they didn't advertise this at all, but even if you look at, you know, the likes here, 64s, 89, I don't know, 22, 64, 86, 86 reactions to this video that he didn't spend $1 to advertise. And one of my the last thing that I love about this is that he shared this in a real estate masterminds kind of Facebook group where people share ideas, you know, they're realtors and stuff. And he said he posted this video on the morning of the 28th, which is a weekday, you know, the week leading up to the 4th of July. And it took off really well. People thought it was hilarious. People were watching it. Wonder if I click here if I can see more information on it.
Hi, this is Josh.
There we go. 24,000 views, 12 shares. And he said he posted it that morning. By that evening, he had a new listing appointment. So that's not a great screenshot of him. I'm going to fast forward a bit. One of the things people say a lot is, well, if I do a video about silly 4th of July tips, or if I do a video with my dog, how is that going to get me more listings? Well, like I say with everything, just because you post something does not mean you're automatically going to get a new listing out of it. But guess what? This guy shot a video, had fun doing it, which you can tell from the video, and got a listing appointment out of it. Someone messaged him on Facebook and said, my friend shared your video this morning, and I thought it was hilarious. When can we sit down? Because my husband and I have been talking about selling our home. So all he had to do was post the video. He barely talked about real estate, but he came off as funny and likable enough that somebody wanted to work with him. So that's one of my favorite examples when it comes to video, because it just encapsulates all of the things that I really enjoy about it. How much fun you can have, how it doesn't have to be perfect, how it doesn't always have to be about real estate, and you can still get business from it. Because even if you only got 1 or 2 listings out of this specific piece of content, how valuable is 24,000 views on a video where you are the main feature? This wasn't for a property. This was for him and his business, and 24,000 views were accumulated, mainly over that first few months, by the way. So let's move on to maybe we might not have time for Bomb today. I feel like we are going to do a second series soon on some tools and stuff, so stay tuned for that. But I want to show you guys, I want to talk about the gear to shoot videos, how to actually shoot and edit and stuff like that. Schmidt Resources and Schmidt Video Classroom are going to be your 2 biggest assets. And I think there are 2 big keys to this last part. One is the gear itself, the equipment you need to shoot a video. And the second thing is going to be how you can edit that video. How do you add photos, add videos, how do you edit the video, right? So let's take a look at that. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the gear itself. I once had an agent after a new agent training where I kind of talked about video. About a week afterward, he reached out to me and said, hey, he sent me an attachment. He goes, take a look at this Word document. This is my gear list that I'm going to try to buy. What do you think? And it was about $1,200 worth of video equipment. And I had to be like, no, you do not need to spend that money. You don't need that gear. The gear is great, but first of all, you don't know how consistently you're going to do video. And second of all, you don't need to spend that much money, even if you are going to do video. So for me, there's sort of 2 tiers of video, at least for us as agents. I want to go through both of those tiers. So if you go to Schmidt Resources, click on any of the regions, probably click to your region, and you go down to the video and social media tab down here. One of the tools we have here is what we call our $50 movie studio. Now, remember, the point of this thing here was to show you don't need to spend $1,000 to shoot high quality video. You don't need to spend $500 to shoot good quality video. In my opinion, besides the apps, which would be part 2, you've got 3 things you need, and that's it. Number 1, you need your smartphone. Doesn't matter if it's Apple, doesn't matter if it's Android, you need your smartphone. Simple as that. Number 2, a tripod or a clicker. So let me show you, oh man, the cheap example of this. Right here. And we're going to go to Amazon, and we're going to look at these in a second, guys. But this right here was about, I believe, $9 or $12 on Amazon. And it's a, it's got, I don't know, 9 inches, maybe a foot big. But what it allows me to do is snap my camera my phone right into place, turn it sideways. It's even got a little, I don't know if you can see well, it's got a little level on it, so I can make sure that my screen is even. And then I pop it down on my desk or my table or on my car if I'm outside, and I shoot the video. So you can see right now it's held just like this. It allows me to free up my hands. It allows me to back up a little bit and make sure I have a good angle during my video. So if we go to Amazon, I used to have a couple links in here for specific products for the microphone and for the tripod, and I've thought about relinking it, but this bottom point was really important to me. What we're going to go through are just options. We don't have any affiliation with the brand. I don't even want you to necessarily think that I think this is the best brand to go with one exception as we go on. I always look at reviews. I look at the quantity of the reviews and the prices. So if you go to Amazon and you just type in smartphone tripod, you're going to get a bunch of options. This top one here, again, 4.5 stars, 10,493 reviews, probably going to be a pretty good quality one. Oh, look at this one. This one is kind of like I have right now. It's on sale for $16.99. But you'll notice that some of these, they come with a clicker. You can see it right here on this one, and you can see it on this third one, and in the second one there. The reason why I love these clickers is because that allows you, again, to kind of sit back, and maybe you've got your clicker in your hand here, and I can go, boop, hey guys, JD here, and start talking, and go, boop, when I'm done. I don't have to lean in and press the button and lean in and press it again to end the video, which Rooney, not right now, bud. Thank you. Thank you. No, don't. It allows you to not have to edit if you don't have to. If there's no point to edit part of the video, then don't. So the clicker allows you to really kind of pull your hands back. And then number 2, the other item on this list is a microphone. There are a bunch of different options. Again, if we go to Amazon and we type in smartphone microphone, whoops, if I could spell, that'd be cool. You have a few options. Some of these are like wired mics that clip onto your shirt that then plug into your smartphone headphone jack. Some of them are wireless ones. Like if you look at this one right here, you can see, and I'm not speaking for any of these specifically. This one can clip onto a tripod, and is this the whole kit actually? Yeah, this is a whole kit. You get the tripod, you get the microphone. Wow, it's pretty cool. This one will plug right into the smartphone and kind of mount on the tripod, so it's more of a directional mic. So it's not clipped down here, but it's directional. So a lot of it really depends on what you're after. And along those lines, if I go back once more, I love the selfie stick versions because I know that we love to make fun of selfie sticks, but I've got short arms. And so if I have a selfie stick with my camera on the end, that's that much more room of me that people can see, or of a home that people can see if I'm giving a walkthrough. So all of a sudden you've gone from just, holding your phone like this and doing an angle down here and having a bad angle video to having your phone mounted on an item so that you can free up your hands more, and you're able to get higher quality audio from plugging it right into your phone. Because if you've got it, first of all, if you're outside, keep in mind that this is your microphone right there. That's your microphone. The further away you get from your microphone, the more your voice will start to become part of all of the noise surrounding you. So, so that's why if you get a directional or any sort of microphone, if you clip it onto your shirt right here and you turn like this, the microphone turns with you. So when you turn back, the audio doesn't change for a second. But if you don't have that, if you have it mounted over here and you're outside and then you start to turn away, the audio is going to go away, and as you turn back, it's going to get louder again. So the microphone is the one that I think goes overlooked the most. You know, a lot of people have tripods or things like that they can clip their phone onto, whether it's in their car or something like that. But the microphone, especially outdoors, makes a huge difference in quality. So this is the first level. This is what I would call like entry level video, because it allows you to, because as long as you've got good lighting, again, I've got an overhead lamp right here, and there's sunlight coming in from a couple of windows. The lighting is good, and the quality from my camera is then going to be good. Now, if you're in a dark basement trying to shoot a video of the basement, and there's no light, and you know it's not a great background, then your video is going to reflect that, if that makes sense. So as long as you have generally good surroundings, this iPhone footage is going to be great. One extra level to this that you can do is called a ring light. And I actually have one right over here. Now, if you have paid attention to the content we've put out over the past couple months, we did something called your Zoom home video office or something like that. And one of these ring lights was something we included in there because first of all, people have bad angles for their Zoom calls, but also their lighting isn't always good. And this is something that plugs right into my computer. I can put it right to the side of my computer, like over here, you know, you could see it over here somewhere, and it just lights everything up. So if I turned this light off, for example, you can just see everything gets a little bit darker. And, you know, my camera does adjust for that, but this does not look as good as this does. It's not as bright, it's not as warm, and that makes a big difference. So that's level 1. The level 2 piece of gear would be what's called a gimbal. So let's see if I do smartphone gimbal, Gimbal. The other word that you'll see a lot is stabilizer. So this is something, Osmo is one of the great, I love DJI. I think they're one of the great, what is this, Jeanette? I'll look at it later. One of the great companies that does this stuff. I love DJI, but they're not the only company that does this. As you can tell, there are plenty of options here. These are things that you can connect your iPhone. I wonder if they have a video if we click on any of them, that you connect your iPhone into, and then as you move, let me see if I can play this without the audio, it stabilizes your shot for you. So if you're walking downstairs, if you're walking through a room, it makes the shot smooth for you, which is exactly what Corinne was using when we saw her video in St. Croix. She just connected it onto one of these, and as she walks around, everything is super smooth. So if she's got her tripod, this is not it wasn't really showcasing the tool, just whatever. If she's got her tripod and she's walking like this throughout the room, it will be a smooth shot. Or as we were talking about that shot in the beginning, if you're standing over here and then you slowly start to pull it back and turn or walk back with it to get a wider shot, it's going to smooth it out and it's going to look awesome. So if we look at, again, Corinne's video, she used one of those stabilizers to do stuff like this shot. You're just moving backwards with the thing. You're rising your camera up. And again, it's going to take practice to be able to really get cool shots like this. But she's only been doing video for a few months and was able to do something like this by herself with her smartphone and her gimbal. So I love those things, and I think if you're going to do video seriously, a stabilizer / gimbal is a great asset. They are a bit pricier. The $50 movie studio, the goal is for it to be $50 or less. The gimbals run between $90 and $90 to $200 depending on the kit that you're getting, which is why I don't recommend it off the bat, because I don't want you to buy something and then end up never using it. I want to make sure that if you're spending the money on this, that you're really getting your value out of it. And then realizing, okay, I do like doing video. I am going to move up to the next thing. This one, for example, here, it's a gimbal and it has a tripod, so you can kind of have 2 in 1 there. So this to me is the level 2 part, which I really like. I love using these things. They're so much fun to play with, and they're just fun toys. So anyway, so you can get yourself a present and then write it off for tax purposes. So the last thing I want to talk about, because we're not going to have time for Bomb, we'll do that another time. I want to talk about the editing part of it. So editing, just like shooting video, is kind of its own thing, right? Like I literally took a class on editing when I went to school. There are some great programs out there that will allow you to edit for cheap/free. So these are two apps that we recommend. There's a third one that I'm going to show you in a second, but InShot and Video Shop. These are both, last I checked, available on both Apple and Android. And with these apps, you can import video clips right in from your phone. Because, here's part of the other thing. Maybe you shot a video and you've got like an Apple computer and you want to use iMovie. Or you found an editing app an editing software for your Windows computer, which is hard to come by. Part of the challenge at that point is getting the video from your phone to your computer. And there are some pretty easy ways to do that, but it's still an extra step that you can take. That can be a pain. But if you get one of these apps and then you download the YouTube app and the Facebook app, which most of us probably have, at least the Facebook app, you can shoot a video on mobile, edit it on mobile, and upload it all from your phone. No need to transfer it to a computer at any point at all. So InShot and Video Shop are both, they are initially free apps. And then there are there is like a monthly fee you can get to unlock a few more features. For example, if you go to the Schmidt Video Classroom, and I believe you can find this under the social media tips playlist. I did a video fairly recently. What is the Gus and JD video? I think I was using that as an example. When I did the create a virtual tour video, if you look up in the upper right corner, it has the little Video Shop logo in the beginning for a bit. If you pay for the upgraded version, that Video Shop logo won't be there. But this is a video I did where I used my tripod for a tour of the home, for an example. But if you go to the end of the video, the second half, I actually show you on my phone how I use the app to edit a video. Bless you. In Video Shop. So this is a great one in order to see how the editing works. But again, it's very intuitive. But if you've never used the app before, you're going to want to go in and try it. You're going to want to go in and try your first video to make sure that you know what you're doing and comfortable with it when the time comes to really use one for a listing or for another purpose. The other app that I love that we recommend a lot is called Splice. S-P-L-I-C-E, Splice. Now this one is Apple only. But if you go to our videos, and again, you could search, actually, I'm just going to search Splice because it's going to come up. Splice, right here. One of our, Judy Luptek on our support team did an amazing it was a long form training on how to use Splice. And again, it is a free trial and it's like maybe, $10 a month or something like that afterward. But instead of, if you're paying $10 a month versus $250 per listing for a video, you're getting your money's worth. And you can tell with this app, you can add text to the corners, you can add logos. All of these apps that I showed you, Splice and InShot and Video Shop, have music libraries that you can pull music into. That's completely copyright free, got nothing to worry about there. So they do, and to be completely honest, they're easier to use than the editing software that I use professionally. Like they're more intuitive, they're easier to use, and they do just about everything that the other stuff does. So you don't need to spend $20 or $30 a month on a fancy editing software. You can download one of these apps and make professional, awesome quality video. Again, I don't remember if Corinne said she used Splice or if she used Video Shop, but she used one of those two apps and she put a photo, if you look at the beginning, she put a photo here, and then she did all of this awesome footage throughout the home, all with her smartphone, her stabilizer, and an editing app. So that's what I've got for you guys today. Again, I was hoping to have more time to talk about BombBomb because it's just one of the coolest things that we have available, but we don't have time to do that right now. So does anybody have any questions? Again, this will be recorded and put up in the classroom. As I'm waiting for any questions to theoretically pour in, I want to offer the same thing that I offer you guys in terms of your business pages. If you want to start doing video, shoot a video and send me that video. Send it to me and say, hey, I was hoping you would take a look at this. Is there, what do you think of this? Because I put this in the slide, I didn't talk about it in the moment, but you are your biggest critic. I don't like the way I look on camera. I don't like the way I sound on camera. Well, you look the way you look and you sound the way you sound. That's the truth of it, right? And we are all more insecure about things than anybody will ever notice. For example, we all have that one thing that we don't like about, or maybe a few things we don't like about ourselves. But I once was working with an agent on a video, and she's like, can you do some editing to this? So I was like, yeah, of course. So I took the video. I spent maybe 20 minutes on it, and she comes in and takes a look at it, and she goes, oh, I hate the way my voice cracked right there. And I said, listen, I just spent 20 minutes editing this, and I never once noticed that voice crack, right? So you are always going to notice the things that you are most self-conscious about or most anxious about. No one else is going to notice those things. Only you will. And you can't let that paralyze you or be an excuse to not do it, because that's not something you're ever going to get over. So if you want to shoot a video and send it to someone, oh, this is another tip that I have. The very first time you're doing video, or as you continue to do video, have somebody else in the room with you. Have your spouse or your kid behind the camera. Have a coworker behind the camera, because if you're talking to them, kind of maybe even looking off camera at them a little bit, it's going to become so much more personable, because ultimately this is a conversation. And if you can make it conversational, it's going to be that much more effective. So have somebody else in the room with you while you shoot your videos. It really does make a difference. So if you shoot a video, you want to send it to me, email it to me, text it to me, and say, hey, what do you think about this? How's this video look? Do you think this would be okay to post? And we'll talk about it. We can say, hey, this was great. Maybe I would shorten it a little bit, or maybe I would do this a little bit differently. But always feel free to send me or anybody on the team anything like that, if you want a second pair of eyes. But no questions have poured in, guys. So thank you for your time. Thank you for being here today and for the past few weeks. Like I said, I'm kind of in the very early stages of planning the next sort of training series I want to do. I've thought about doing an Instagram one. I've thought about doing a tools one, kind of deep dive on specific tools. So if you ever have any ideas, always send them my way so that we can make sure to get you some training that you think would be valuable. Other than that, that's it, guys. Thank you for your time. Have a great rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time.